Welcome to Wealth, Words, and Wisdom, where real-life conversations lead to financial clarity. I'm Ashley Carter, alongside my co-host, Carrie Boatner. In this conversation-driven podcast, we talk about real-life topics like parenting, marriage, business, faith, and leadership, all things that naturally lead into deeper discussions about financial understanding, long-term planning, and wise stewardship. Get ready for some honest discussions about money, responsibility, and the choices that shape our future. Let's get into today's conversation. Carrie, when did we collectively decide that losing money is just part of the plan?
Yeah, Ashley, we have normalized statements like, oh, the market goes up and down, or we're just going to ride it out, or our money will come back eventually. And I have to tell you a funny story, Ashley. And this is such a timely subject because this happened just yesterday. So yesterday I went to the car wash and I needed a place to sit, and there was an empty table with two gentlemen sitting at it, two empty chairs. So I said, hey, do you guys mind if I sit here? And they said, oh, no, sure, you can sit here. And they said, we're just sitting here talking about retirement accounts. So if you sit here, that's what we're going to be talking about. And I thought, wow, that's really rather interesting. So I said, sure, I'll sit here. So I sat and I listened to them for a while, and then I said, do you guys mind if I ask you a question? And they said, no, go ahead. I said, have either of you ever lost money in your retirement accounts or in any of your investment accounts? Have you ever lost money? Honestly, they look at me like they were quite puzzled. They thought, of course we have. Like I was crazy for even asking the question. And the thing that's really interesting about that is that it became obvious to me that, yes, they had normalized that losing money is actually part of the deal. And it really upsets me, to be honest with you. And the other thing that's really very normalized too, Ashley, and we can talk about this a little bit later, but management fees. Those same gentlemen sitting at the table believe that paying management fees is also a very normal thing. And I've heard my friends say this to me, that losing money is part of the deal. If you put money in the stock market, losing money it's just kind of what you sign up for. It's like legalized gambling, right? You lose some, you win some. And people feel the exact same way when it comes to having their retirement accounts or their investment accounts with whoever or however. They believe that it's completely normal to lose money. And I love that we can offer people an alternative where they can put their money somewhere. They're not going to bed at night wondering whether or not they're going to wake up the next day and part of their wealth is going to be gone. We just woke up this morning to find out that we have engaged in an act of war against another country while we were sleeping. And, that can affect the stock market. Recessions can affect the stock market. If a company has a bad quarter or they come out with a bad earnings report, that affects people's investment money. People are really doing legalized gambling in a lot of cases with their retirement accounts. And I'm not into gambling with my money, with my future. And quite sincerely, how much money are people actually really comfortable losing?
Yeah, and the thing is too, Carrie, is people don't ask themselves the right questions. I know you've talked before about the quality of the answer is dependent upon the quality of the question. So people should be asking themselves, what if I don't have enough time to make up for this loss? All these losses that they're experiencing in the market. Well, if someone is close to retirement age, they may not have time to make up for the loss. And Carrie, we have this very powerful visual representation of how the sequence of returns risk can affect your savings in retirement and even before retirement. And if any of our listeners would like to have access to this free resource, then send us an email at wealthwordsandwisdompodcast@gmail.com, and we will send over this PDF for you. And it gives a very clear example of two retirees who have the same amount of money invested in the market, and one of them runs out of money years before they graduate to heaven, and the other retiree's money continues to grow. They have a lot more money than what they started with, all because of when they lost money in the market. So I think so many people, Carrie, don't realize that when you lose money matters as much as how much you lose sometimes, right?
hmm Yeah. And truthfully, like when you lose money, I don't even like that. I know it's truthful, though. That's what happens with people because they can't control when they're going to lose their money, right? They could lose their money in the beginning of the retirement, in the middle, towards the end. But what if you had the opportunity to not lose any money? Like, what would that look like? We ask people questions all the time, Ashley. And one very easy question that we get to ask people is how much of your retirement savings would you like to protect? How much of your money do you want to protect? Ashley, have you ever had anybody tell you anything less than 100%?
No, of course not.
Every day, people are gambling with their hard earned money, money that they spent hours of their life to earn. Money represents hours of your life in many cases. Most people work for their money, some people inherit. And that's a nice thing that we can help provide people with, right? Is an inheritance. But you can't provide anybody with an inheritance if you didn't protect your money in the first place. So after the car wash incident yesterday, and by the way, one of the gentlemen did ask me to take his phone number so I could help he and his wife with their retirement account. But I started meditating on different examples and different things that we experience in life where we would never tolerate losing money. So a friend of mine recently noticed that there was unauthorized deduction out of his bank account. It was an $800 charge that was done against his debit card. And he immediately was highly offended, upset, nervous that other funds were going to be taken. So he called up the bank, he canceled the card. He was looking at having to do other things to protect his money. And so he immediately jumped into action. And then I started thinking, what if somebody came into my house and took 25% of my groceries out of my house without me willingly giving that away? And there are other examples of things where we are really proactive about doing everything we can to protect our money, like the bank account incident. But when people wake up and find out, or they get a notification from their financial advisor that, oh, by the way, your account has gone down dramatically, we just are accepting that. And then add insult to injury, you get to pay that person a fee when they called you up and said, oh, by the way, we happen to have lost some of your money last night in the stock market because of whatever reason. And I really want to light a fire under people's fanny and tell them, stop accepting substandard care for your retirement and your investment accounts. You deserve better. You've traded hours of your life to earn that money, whether it's for your own retirement or for inheritance for your family. You need to be more protective about it. You need to be more guarded. You should be offended when you lose money. I'm offended when people take money from me. I don't understand. I'm like, I did do a video last night on social media, and I am offended that people want to take your money and we're normalizing it. So we need to normalize 100% asset protection through some secured retirement accounts that we provide people with, and also putting them in a trust, which we're going to talk about in future episodes. But we need to normalize that it is okay and it is normal and it should be the standard that 100% of your money is safe at all times.
Yeah, absolutely, Carrie. And you touched on management fees, and it made me think about Tony Robbins and how he has said that a simple 1% management fee over years can reduce your retirement savings by 10 years. So you think like, oh, 1%, that's like nothing, right? If I
Mhm.
have $100, 1% of that is $1. Like, oh, I'm not going to miss that dollar. But Carrie, over time, Tony Robbins says that can add up to 10 years worth of your retirement. So if you think you have money saved to last you till you're 100, but then that management fee wipes out 10 years or more of your retirement, then what are you going to do if you live to be 90 or older and you run out of money?
And the truth is, Ashley, we are living longer, and the beautiful thing is we don't charge these management fees. So you're not going to wake up at 90 wondering if you need to go get a job and be a greeter at a store. You get to live those next 10 years of your life still receiving that retirement incomes, being able to provide people our services, security for your finances, and no fee. It's unheard of. And I will tell you, my own mother, I love her more than anything else on the planet Earth. She is a remarkable woman. But when I have been sharing these things with her, because they have their money at one of these big investment houses, when I share with her some of the things that we provide people with, her comment to me was this: It just sounds too good to be true. That's actually what
Mm.
she said. And it does just because we're so used to something. I'm going to tell you something else too. It reminds me of a story of elephants and how they train elephants. Are you aware of how they train elephants, Ashley?
No, Carrie, but I want to know.
Oh my goodness. So when elephants are little, when they're babies, like in the circus, what they do is they put a cuff around one of their ankles and they have a bolt in the floor and they put a chain from their cuff on their ankle to the bolt in the floor so that they can't move. They can only go so far. And over the course of their life, they keep them chained up like this so they can't move. And what ends up happening is as they become these gigantic, big, powerful animals, that you can actually tie a rope to the ankle of a elephant who has a cuff on his ankle and tie it to a chair, and the elephant will not try to go beyond that distance that they were tied to because they've been conditioned to believe there's only so much space for them to move. There's only so much they can do. And that's what's happened to us as a society when it comes to protecting our money. It's really criminal, honestly.
It's a very powerful story, but it's so sad. And it's sad to me that people are so conditioned to think it's normal to lose money.
So, Ashley, for our listeners, let's share with them how we are able to be so magical and help protect people. How are we different than some of these financial advisors that people have their relationships with? Why are we able to protect their money and they're not?
The biggest thing, Carrie, is that when someone opens an account with us, they do not lose money. They have a zero floor. So that means their money does not drop. They will not wake up and have less money in their account than they had yesterday. Also, like you mentioned, we do not charge management fees. Those little management fees that add up to such a large amount over time, we don't charge that. So we're truly protecting people's wealth.
So you take two people, let's just say they both have $100,000. The stock market drops 10% overnight. One person wakes up, they've got $90,000 in their account. The other person has $100,000 because they had a zero floor. That means regardless of how much money the stock market goes down, that person will lose $0. So now let's say the stock market goes up 10%. The person who had lost $10,000 before is now only earning 10% off of $90,000. So they are now back to $99,000, while the other person who never lost any money at all is now at $110,000. And here's another common thing that I've heard people say, because I asked someone very close to me. I said, but you've lost money before. And they said, yeah, but we made our money back. And the truth is, they never made their money back, regardless of whether they had $100,000 or $2 million. If they had never lost any money at all, that person who has $2 million could easily be sitting on $3 million right now. Over a course of 25, 30 years of investing, they could be sitting at so much more, regardless of the number, but they will never have as much money as they could have had they never lost any money at all and had they never paid management fees.
So what you're saying, Carrie, is losses hurt more than gains help.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But people, again, my soapbox, Ashley, people have normalized losing. I'm not into being a loser in any way. I don't want to lose money. I don't want to be a loser at all.
I'm right there with you, Carrie, and I always want my money to be growing on a higher balance. So when we talk about these accounts that we're able to open for people to help protect their savings and help them continue to grow their wealth, who specifically are we talking to, Carrie?
Well, just for starters, we're talking to people who, number one, are already retired, or they are people who maybe they're still in the workforce, but they have had previous jobs where they were engaged in a 401k relationship. They've left that job, and that 401k money is still just sitting there at risk, of course. So those are just two people right off the top of my head.
Yeah. Also, think about people maybe who come into a large sum of money, maybe from an inheritance or a legal settlement, or maybe someone who has sold a business, right? Or even people who are soon to retire within the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah. And For our audience, when we talk about people who have maybe left a job and have a previous case sitting there, or they are people who have retired and they have a 401k, I know people, and I know you and I talked about this yesterday, Ashley. We know people who have just recently retired, like in the last couple of months, and they're busy in their retirement, enjoying their life, trying to figure out what they want to do. Like, what have they done with their 401k? Is it just sitting there? And when you hear people say they talk about a 401k rollover, this is what we're talking about. We specifically help people transition from where their 401k is sitting, where it is at risk, because we even just talked about recently in a previous episode of all of the major Fortune 500 companies who have compromised their employees' retirements, their pensions, because of foolish decisions that the corporation has made. So your 401k is not always safe. I don't care if it's Disney World or General Electric or or Walmart. Even Walmart was engaged in a lawsuit because of what they were doing, siphoning money away from their employees' pension plans. So when we talk about a 401k rollover, we're talking about helping people take the money that is at risk, that is vulnerable, and putting it into a program where their money is not ever going to lose any money. We're not going to be siphoning money from their retirement, and neither are the companies that we partner our clients with. And I love even just the name of our company, Ashley, the Guardian Financial Group, is a very intentional name. I mean, we chose that name because of our responsibility to be that second set of eyes, to be protecting what you have traded hours of your life to acquire. And even when people look at our logo, love all of the different components of our logo. We've got a compass for pointing you north. We have a shield for protection. Even Ephesians chapter 6 in the Bible talks about the shield. And then we've got that halo around our logo, and that's for a guardian angel. So yeah, when we talk about 401k rollovers, it is all about us helping you take yourself from a situation where you truly are vulnerable. You truly are, and help you put your money somewhere where you are safe for your retirement. And then also looking forward, what is the legacy or the inheritance that you're going to be leaving behind for your children? Because, our word, the Bible says that a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. And that's what we're trying to help people do.
Yes, Carrie, that is absolutely so true. I love that Bible verse. And we talk a lot about what people will do if they run out of money in retirement. But to me, it's so much more than just your own personal goals. One of the most important things that my husband and I do with our finances is being smart with it for generations to come. And Carrie, you mentioned 401k rollovers just a few moments ago.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's important for people to realize that rollovers are not dependent on your age. They're not dependent on your health, and it's not a taxable event if it's done correctly, which we know how to do correctly. I love
Mhm.
that we're able to help our clients move money safely so that they're protected from loss. Again, part of that loss is taxes. So this is really just about repositioning their money, not withdrawing their money.
Those are really good points, Ashley. Thank you for bringing those up. Here's a couple other highlights too, Ashley. Number one, it is about principal protection. We are protecting your money. And then the other thing too, even though we're talking about protecting you from market loss, your growth still is tied to an index. But the beautiful thing, again, regardless of what the market does, you're not going to experience any market loss. There is an option in there so that you can have lifetime income. And we're really just turning your savings into a pension style paycheck. So this isn't about beating the market, Ashley. It's really about not being beaten by it. And I think that's one of the things, like a mic drop thing. That's one of those things. It's really powerful.
Absolutely. I love that.
For our listeners, I do just want to add something that it was brought to our attention that Ashley and I actually say that we love things. And we do. First of all, we love the Lord Jesus Christ. Second of all, we love each other. We love doing life together. And we love sharing this information with you, the wisdom and the knowledge that we're gaining on a daily basis. And so we've been trying really hard today not to say how much we love things. So
Yeah, we're laughing behind the scenes about how much we love things, but it's so true, Carrie.
I
I
know.
mean, we love sharing this with people. We love helping people protect what they've worked so hard for, and we love teaching people about these strategies because otherwise they wouldn't know about them.
Yeah. It's the whole ice cream thing, Ashley. We're back to the ice cream thing, episode 1, I think. Yeah. And just kind of bringing it back to the theme and the reason for this particular episode of our podcast is we want to help people stop normalizing losing money. Stop doing it. It's not necessary, you guys. This is what I want you to ask yourself. What if you didn't have to accept losing money? Especially when you're retired and you don't have the energy or the desire or the ability to make that money back up. You don't have earned income replacing your losses. And we want you to normalize 100% asset protection. And we want you to normalize that you don't have to pay somebody to look over your money. So here is our call to action for you today. As you're listening to this episode, I want you to be thinking, how secure do you feel with where your money is currently at? If you're sitting on an old 401k, an IRA, or some lump sum of money, and you're unsure if it's positioned correctly for this stage of life, for any stage of life, if you can't say beyond a shadow of a doubt that 100% of your money is protected, then we need to review it for you. There's no pressure. We're just going to help provide some clarity for you so that you can go to sleep at night and know that you're going to wake up in the morning tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, 5 years from now, knowing that your money has never lost value. Then we need to have a discussion. We thank you again for joining us on another amazing episodes of Wealth, Words, and Wisdom. If you have questions, please send us an email at wealthwordsandwisdompodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to answer your questions. And if you'd like to be added to our fast and rapidly growing newsletter, which we're super excited about and we love it, you can also email us there as well. And if you would love for us to review what your current situation looks like, all we need is to see one of your most recent statements. Our evaluation of your current situation is completely free. All of our conversations are completely free. And we are just here to add value, to add wisdom, and most of all, above all else, add financial security and peace of mind to the days that lie ahead of you. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to providing you with another episode next week. Thank you for listening to Wealth, Words, and Wisdom. Our goal is simple. It's to help you approach your financial decisions with clarity, confidence, and with intention. Because we know that when wisdom leads the way, your money decisions will feel less overwhelming and they will be far more aligned with your real life. If something you heard today resonated with you and you'd like to explore your options, we offer complimentary strategy sessions. There's no pressure, there's no obligation, it's just education and clarity. You can reach out to us at wealthwordsandwisdompodcast@gmail.com. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if this episode was helpful, share it with friends or family who you believe could benefit from this conversation. Until next time, remember, wealth grows where wisdom leads.